So, the whole world...
Baltic Sea Activity Watch.
No, Baltic Sea Region Radioactivity Watch. The whole world is listening.
Yes, the whole world is listening. Then we have to talk about the minds that control the minds of the population on this planet. And they control the international, the transnational money system, and they own the resources on this planet by taking interest on the Catholic Church enormous fortune, and they think that the Catholic Church is the church that wants suffering to be the aim of mankind. The suffering person is...
Can you talk louder, please?
The suffering person is a follower of Jesus. And
yeah, you're right. So that they can hear you too.
This fantastic idea that a person that is opposing to the power of this popal...
The Black Pope.
Yes, and not the Pope as a loving Pope, but the Black Pope, the Pope that wants to spread over the planet suffering for its own sake. The warlords. Suffering is best created by creating wars, and as cruel wars as possible. As we now see it, it's really awful kind of war.
What is the structure of this Jesuit order?
It's an absolute male hierarchy. And the one at the top is the general of the Society of Jesus. And he is almighty, so if you are a Jesuit, you are not allowed to think for yourself. You have just to be, if you are ordered to go to somewhere in the jungle, you go there. And
They are soldiers.
they are soldiers, but their mind, their will, their freedom is sold once and for all when you give your oaths to this organization. And
The Jesuit order.
And they cannot change and reform their original statutes. Then this was accepted as an order of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church wanted to ban, to declare the Jesuit order anathema 1773. But of course he didn't live more than 3 days. Then the Black Pope chose another pope that declared that this ban was not really a ban. and after that nobody had been able to stop them. So they also came to have power over the enormous fortune that the Catholic Church has gathered. And that is a basis of reality.
The trap that we have.
No, the basis for a world currency must be something real that has so much of trustworthy.
You mean gold?
Yes, for example, gold, but also land and crops and factories and everything that man needs to support a life on this planet. So they own very much more than any group of nations or nation. So the nations couldn't oppose to being allowed to create paper money on basis of this fortune. And now they tried first to say England was responsible for the pound, and then they moved over to the United States when they had got around the American Constitution and created their private power over the dollar. Then the dollar was the world currency, and the poor Americans today seems to be responsible for this enormous amount of dollars that is in the world, and that's an impossible situation now for the Western countries to pay interest to the Black Pope on all this enormous amount of their private money. The only thing we can pay interest on this planet that owns is owned by the Catholic Church as defined as by the Black Pope.
So you think that the Black Pope is even higher in hierarchy than Federal Reserve people and banksters?
Yes, because it's their money that is given interest on. So it's their fortune that grows by means of interest rate. And how do the taxpayer pay the interest rate? Then they have to borrow this money for the interest of international dollar. They have to give us a security for the loan, something from their own country. And when you cannot pay more interest on this, then you have to sell what you have put as security for the loan. You have to sell it, and then you get some extra money when you sell it, as long as you haven't sold it all, but then they pay very, very little extra money. But as long as you still have something that belongs to the citizens of a country, they pay a little extra, so you get a good good time, and the politicians have a little money to spend and to have this entertainment and bread to the people.
How is this Wall Street? What is Wall Street?
Oh, they are entrepreneurs.
It is like a state in the state, yeah?
Yes, it is free. Small places on the planet that the Black Pope has an responsibility for on this planet, and that is in the Vatican and in City of London, 1 square mile
of Wall Street.
And no, Wall Street is not there. It is 10 square miles in called District of Columbia in Washington.
But that is United States, yeah?
That is in United States. So in the Vatican, they rule over what people thinks.
Ah, the City of London it is called in London, yeah? City of London, yeah?
City of London rules over the dance around the Golden Calf, and District of Columbia as the rules over the mercenaries, the soldiers, the world police,
it's Pentagon, yeah?
They have their own laws, they have their own flag, they have their own police, these small. So this is an empire of free. Not geographically, we are not geographically united, but they have their own law, they have their own flag, and so that's what unites this empire, and this empire happens to own now this planet, and they own us too. If they own everything we need to be on this planet, if we are not allowed to talk about this because it is not righteous, and if we make this known to people, they will not accept that they are bought by an unrighteous money system and interest rate on this false money. They will say that if you compel us by terror to accept a system, this can be expelled. It is not acceptable as
But how could we do that if you say that it is 3 very little places on the planet, actually?
Yes.
It's Vatican, City of London, and Wall Street, yeah?
No.
No.
With District of Columbia.
Where is that?
In Washington City. Washington City.
And where
they have 10 square miles there.
And where is it in London?
It's the central. It's this square mile that the Prince of Orange, William of Orange, he was put on the throne of England, and he, as King of England, had to pay the military warlords by giving the right to create Bank of England, and also to give them as the bank's private area 1 square mile in the heart of London. And there we have all these...
But how do they manage through these 3 little areas to grab the whole world? It's because they have their financial institutions or what?
Yes, they have a finance and they have a newspaper centers, all insurance companies, and all the banks are represented there, global branch offices. All the main banks are represented in the city of London, and so you have always, if you do something, you have to be allowed to do what you do
by them,
by asking City of London. It's
and that's run by Jesuit or
this is run by the Jesuit order, but this level has hitherto been not ever allowed by journalists to write about. It's been taboo to talk about the innermost power. And
where is the Priorate of Zion? Is it the same place, Jesuits, Priorate of Zion, or is it lower levels?
Yes, you do not need to have very much imaginations that the Elders of Zion is written by the Jesuits and not by some Jews especially. This is a chance to save the face of socialism and religions and politicians and if we now say that we need to have a reformation, and everybody who wants to be an honest person from now, and he's accepting to give his CV on what he has done that was not righteous because the system was like that. When this system is opened up, he can say that I have no loyalty to this anymore, because now I'm not alone to be disloyal to my masters, because now we have regained freedom and
exactly.
we have regained the planet.
We can be in another system now.
Yes, because this planet that is owned by the Jesuits, they have destroyed more than what is left in the condition that the planet is now.
But where do Rockefellers and Rothschilds and Morgans come in? Are they subordinated to
They organized how the Catholic Church could get interest on their fortune.
Uh-huh.
They can.
So they are still subordinated to the Catholic Church, yeah?
Yes. Anyway, they have to accept that the basis for their banks was this fortune and how they regard their ownership of a planet. If they say, no, we are bankers that own it, it's not possible. It belongs actually to the loving side of the Catholic Church in that way. If we can reform the Catholic Church so that it is for the happiness and cooperation of man, this fortune ought to be in service of this idea instead of this Black Pope's idea of creating wars and suffering to the population of the planet. So it's really that we have to choose. Do we want suffering? Will we want to have masters that keeps us in lack and anxiety and terror? Or do we want to take responsibility to create in cooperation to have a long-term society that is also good for...
But then we have to talk to Vatican, sort of, yeah?
Yes, of course you must love your enemies.
But love is a universal thing. It's very easy to love. And
no. Some people are very difficult for me to love anyway.
but I mean, what is the person who decide? Who is the people who decide? So it's not Rockefellers and Morgans.
No.
It's Vatican.
No.
Where do we go to meet them?
It's the military order of the Society of Jesus, and there is just one person that decides, and that's the general. And in the last 25 years, his name was Count Hans Peter Kolvenbach, a count in the Netherlands. But for the moment, he has taken a pension now, 2 years ago, the 18th of January 2008, and he made a Putin-Medvedev rocade, and Adolfo Nicolas is a Spaniard that is officially the general of the
Jesuit order.
Jesuit order, but it has never happened before that it has not been a lifetime job to be a Jesuit order, general of a Jesuit order. So I'm sure that this Count Hans Peter Kolvenbach, he
still is very powerful.
Still, he is the real power.
And what was the other name?
Adolfo Nicolas.
Adolfo
Nicolas.
With CK, yeah?
Yes. No. C only. Nicolas.
Adolfo with F or PH?
F.
F. Okay.
But
so
you just can go into the internet and look at the Black Pope.
So let's make an appointment with them then, yeah?
No, I have an appointment with the Swedish part of this to just ask them if these oaths to the order is given to God, or if they are given to God's representative on earth, the Pope. Because that is the question of, is there any freedom for the order to reform itself?
Exactly.
Or is there not? if there is not, then there's no freedom, then there can be no love. Because you can't ask, as the Catholic Church did in the South America, when they asked the Indians if they wanted to be Christians. If they don't want to be Christians, they cut their head off. If they said we want to be Christians, they cut their head off anyway. That's not a basis for love.
Yeah.
So
anyway, now the world is getting so radioactive, so that the Black Pope probably is getting sick too. So there is chance of negotiation. That's the point.
Yes. That's a point that is very
or a change of system.
But if they are bound to what was written 1540, what was the aims of the Pope 1540, Anno Domini 1530? If they are bound to that, they have no chance to be a part of the solution.
And what was written there?
Well, you know, a lot of Muslims were killed, a lot of women were killed and burned on stake out of the fee, and we had a lot of inquisitions and a lot of terror, and no science, no education. It was a death sentence to have a Bible. That's quite enormous, but in that time this was possible. But with the communication we have today, this is just that it's so unbelievable that we possibly might not believe it is true.
But who is the big Jesuit in Sweden? What is his name?
Well, he is no one if he is known, and I don't think there is more than one person that has any power there. It's an absolute hierarchy. So it's just the general of the order that has any.
But you said you want to meet somebody in Sweden.
Yes, but that's just to
Who would that be?
possibly.
Where would you look for it? Who is that? Where would you
I
find
don't want to give that name because I don't know yet if
it's true,
he is
yeah.
going to cooperate on this, because
Yeah. That's fair.
he
yeah.
is not allowed to do that, and he must be do as Luther did in one time, that is, here I stand and can nothing else. This is absolutely ridiculously wrong, and if he wants to be a reformator like that in the Jesuit order, I don't know yet. I absolutely don't know yet. It's up to the God in him to decide if he wants to open up his mind.
But it is in Stockholm somewhere, or outside Stockholm.
It is
In Stockholm.
neighbor to the Stockholm.
Okay.
Bank of the Viceroy of Sweden. It's the Wallenbergs.
Yeah, Wallenbergs. Those
Yes.
are the people
Yes.
from Zion Priorite.
Yes, in Sweden we have the headquarter of the Jesuit order. It's the Eugenia Church, and it's neighbor to the headquarter of the Wallenberg Bank.
I see. So we should go and see the Wallenbergs as well, maybe?
No,
No? Wallenberg
they are viceroy. They are not They are not
in power.
in power. They are not allowed to leave the bank mafia. No, Sweden is a very small country. It's a very little part of the world dollar.
Okay, so it is useless to talk to Wallenbergs, you think, yeah?
No, it's a question of if we should have righteousness again, or if we are going to make an end to life on earth.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, whom shall we talk to? Not Wallenbergs, but Jesuit order is better, yeah?
No, we must talk to our brethren, your neighbor, and get clear. Does this power institution exist? Is it like this? What I have told you here, is it true? Is it created? Or is it just an idea that we must find out? If this is true, then we can do something about it. If we find that it is true, then we democratically can change this
abolish it, yeah.
policy and
Abolish it.
abolish it. But as long as it doesn't exist, we can. The democracy cannot handle it.
Exactly.
Because we cannot handle what we say.
Something nobody knows exists.
It doesn't exist. So the only thing is to communicate. What world order do we have had until today? They can change it tomorrow if we agree upon what is.
Okay.
But don't we know, or do we fight about what is, then the order of today just rolls on.
I know that the global laws are designed by Unidroit organization, which is Unidroit Institute. It's an institute that writes laws, however it has to sort of create the law system. And it is from Italy. And it was the statutes of it were written at Mussolini's time. So it's probably also from the same core, sort of they're globalizing the whole law structure of the world. And
yes, it's for ordinary man, but the laws of this hidden empire, these free city-states, they have not changed their laws, and that is that they are absolutely free from the laws of other nations and international law, and this makes it very difficult. So there isn't any
contact with them in a civil society.
Any justice institution outside their empire that can judge what comes from the empire of the city-states, this is why Olof Palme, for example, he he said that the elected representatives were immune to justice in their work as representatives of a people, and 500 of the highest civil servants in Sweden also should be immune to justice in connection to their professional work, because it's just impossible to be loyal to this hidden empire of the city-states and to the national law. It's impossible to have two masters.
Two realities.
Yes. So then in one of these justice systems you have to be immune, and you were immune in regard to your.
That's why the pyramid has this gap between the top of it, and that is where.
Just an idea. I have not thought about that, but you are right. What is that gap? That is
immunity for the top.
Possibly immunity for the top. Yes.
Yeah.
They are transnational. They have nothing but the right to be parasites on this planet. They have no duties.
Any ideas how to handle that?
Yes, to know about it. If we agree upon that this is the reality we have created, then we will stop to create it, of course. It's absolutely ridiculous to have it like this.
Oh, thank you, Lars. You are such a miracle. You've dug out this.
Yes.
Thank you, Lars.
Thank you.